Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to another Pick a Card reading, where today we are doing what makes you different from other people. This should be a real fun one. I do just want to tell you guys real quick, where I'm at is super windy, and I'm right next to this tree, and so it is kind of slapping up against the side of the RV. So if you guys hear a noise in the background, that is what's going on. I apologize. I have no control over it, and I still have to record this video because this is the time I have to do it. And so I'm just letting you guys know, if you do hear that noise in the background, that is what it is. So thank you for your patience with me. And thank you to everyone that has joined the tribe and become a part of this channel. Whether you guys are just here watching or you're supporting in any one way, shape, or form, or just allowing me your energy, I'm truly honored to be in this space and time with you guys. You leave me breathless. You leave me speechless. You leave me completely in love in ways that I didn't think I ever could be. And I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. And with that being said, guys, if these are resonating with you, know that if you hit that thumbs up button and interact in any one way, shape, or form, it allows me to connect with your energy to get you out more resonant readings. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you do hit that notification bell so that way you guys always know when the next video does get uploaded. So with that being said, guys, let us go ahead and get into the prayer. Let me grab an incense here. I was ready, I just didn't have it over here. So let's get into our prayer, and then we will go ahead and start with our cards and find out which pile is yours. Yeah, I already know what's coming through. I already feel it. All right, let's get this going, guys. All right, perfect. My beloved source, today I ask for patience. For any and all who come on this video for a moment, for the whole thing, not for patience with me, for patience in life. We get so excited about the end result that we try to rush things along, and sometimes we are in a position where we don't allow ourselves an opportunity to stop and smell the roses, or to stop and admire the beauty of your work and the beauty of your creations that are around us. And so today I ask that you place a loving, unconditional loving hand upon the hearts of those here and grant them patience and peace of mind in this patience, and remembering that there is no end result, no matter the situation, whether the situation is heavy and stressful or if the situation is light and exciting. There is never an end result. There is always only experience. And with that, it is up to us to stay present. And in this presence, I pray for your patience. I pray for your understanding. I pray for your mercy upon all of my fellow humans here on this video. Help us all see the truth, the light, and the love that you are, and the reminder that all wonderful things in life take time, and may we embody the truth of that in our souls and in our day-to-day lives. As these words are spoken unto this space, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Aseh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. I could feel it before I even got started. I knew what the prayer was going to be. I could feel the energy. So I hope that that resonated with someone. Sending you guys so much love. So we are going to get one of the Intuition Oracle cards. If you guys have been watching my videos, the last few videos, you know I am absolutely obsessed with this deck. And I feel like it is so fitting to use this on what makes you different from other people. So let's get a shuffle in here. And let's find out. Source for pile 1. What oracle card? Wow, right away. Right away you guys came out. Thank you. For pile number 2, what oracle card will help us understand what makes them different from other people, source? What oracle card will help us understand what makes pile 2 different from other people? Pile 2, source. What oracle card do they need that will help us understand? Thank you. Okay, for pile number 3, what oracle card will help us understand what makes them different from other people? What oracle card will help us understand what makes pile 3 different from other people, source? Pile 3, what oracle card will help us understand what makes them different from other people. For pile number 3. Whoa, thank you. Okay. So you guys, honestly, I'm just going to do this because I feel like they both want to come out. So pile 3, you are getting 2. Okay. We'll check them out later. So for pile number 1, these are all shells that I found on the beach. We have this shell here. This is a part of a very interesting, unique oyster shell. I was hoping I could find the whole piece to it, but alas, this is what I got. Okay. For pile number 2, this beautiful clamshell. And for pile number 3, this beautiful oyster shell as well. Okay. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Whichever one you guys are drawn to, that should be the pile for you, keeping in mind they are general readings. With that being said, whichever one you did choose, I will see you over on your perspective piles. Hello, pile number 1. This is for those of you that chose this beautiful shell or you chose this image. This is going to be your reading on what makes you different from other people. Let's put that up there. Okay. And as always, let's start with the dice. And remember that as you guys interact with the channel, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy to get you out more resonant readings. So if these do resonate with you, make sure you hit that thumbs up button below. Subscribe to the channel and set that notification bell. You're welcome to leave a comment. I do love hearing from you guys. I do read all of the comments and currently am replying to them all as well once I get an opportunity. So just letting you guys know, I really appreciate your interaction, all of you. And for those of you guys that are just allowing me your time and your energy, thank you for being here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into your reading and ask the dice. Source for pile number 1, what makes them different from other people? What makes pile number 1 different from other people, Source? What information can you give us? How can you help us understand what makes pile number 1 different from other people? So we have 9th house, Scorpio energy, and we have Neptune. You guys are already a rare bunch. You guys are mysterious. You are very enlightened in a way that people may not understand. So you see things from a different point of view. You see things from a very spiritual aspect, especially with 9th house here and Neptune energy. You could be very much connected beyond the veil. And for you, pile 1, you are in this place of really truly studying things that are taboo, occult. This could be ancient history. This could be, I heard, ancient languages. Maybe for some, you are studying ancient languages that have been extinct, or you're trying to bring them back and understanding them. This is, I don't know why we don't have communications energy here, but that is something that came through. There's also this energy that people are intimidated by you, and that makes you different because most people are trying to be intimidating to others, and yet you just naturally enter a room and people are very intimidated by you. They're like, whoa. Pile 1 has a huge energy. So for some of you, you are psychic mediums, you have one of the clairs, or you have a conglomerate of the clairs. And for others, you are super intuitive and you are capable of, like, I keep hearing telepathy for some, right? And it's something that comes very natural to you. It's something that you're able to just tap into whenever it is that you want. And people are like, how are you reading my mind? And it's like, you may make a joke about it. You'd be like, oh, that's funny. That's not a real thing. And then you go home and you're like, oh, if they only knew. If they only knew, right? And so let me see if that makes it a little better. Yeah, there we go. It's not so bright. Okay. And you travel, that makes you different from others. You have higher education for some. You went to school for a vast majority of your life, and you're very well versed in books and knowledge and vocabulary and just culture and life and general, and that makes you different from others as well. You may have experienced or have had experiences with different cultures, being immersed in different cultures, right? And being in this very diverse place. Maybe you grew up in a place that was very open to diversity and you got to experience that, and it helped you become a very well-rounded individual. And that is what makes you truly different from others, because you are in a place where that's something that excites you. Like, you're not going to run away when people are different. In fact, you are most likely more comfortable in situations that feel uncomfortable for other people, where most people hang out with the people they've known their whole life. They never go outside of the stores that they go to. They always do the same thing over and over again. And yet here you are. Maybe you've traveled the world, or if you haven't, maybe you know how in every state there's always, like, I don't know, where I grew up, there was always little China, and there was little Africa, and there was little Mexico, and they were all really close to each other, and you could go into all the stores and they were exactly as they were, right? It was a supermercado, or it was the Asian fish market, or it was the African restaurants. You know, it was like wherever you went, that's the culture that you experienced in that space. And it was, I feel like maybe you grew up in a place like that where you were surrounded by different cultures, and that makes you very mysterious, because it's like when people get to talk to you, they may judge you by how you look, because you might look like somebody who, you know, didn't grow up like that, or is very one-sided, or very conservative, or very much in this place of like, oh no, I just do what I do and I don't ever stray from my routine. But then when people begin to talk to you, they're like, whoa, you're well-rounded, you have this huge transformative energy that you bring, you bring in. You're very wise, you're very open, you're very truthful, you are aware of your surroundings. And I feel like people actually get transformed when they're around you. Like, how you see people is not how other people see them, right? So it's like when they're with other people, they're just kind of doing the same thing that they've always done. But the minute that you enter the room, people act completely different when they're around you. And you may have heard other people be like, oh, so-and-so only acts like this when you come around. But it's never a bad thing. It's not like they like greatly change. It's just they're trying to match your vibration. And so they're really trying to vibrate much higher because they see how good you feel, or they see how calm you are, they see how collected you are in situations, and they're like, how do I do that? And so the only way they can figure that out is by trying to okay, I keep hearing intimidate, but that's not the right word. Imitate. It wasn't coming out, guys. They're trying to imitate you, right? And so they're like, how do I do that? Like, pile one just has it down. How do I become like that? How do I really calm myself down? How do I become stronger in situations that usually just stress me out? And they see you just so calm all the time, and they're like, whoa, like, pile one never changes. And so they're really just trying to match your vibration. And so you might hear from others like, oh, well, they always only change when you're around. And you're like, well, I don't know. That's who I see all the time, is that person like that. And people just can't figure it out. But that's what makes you different, is because you're so high vibrational. Whether you're aware of it or not, you're very much tapped in to the spiritual realm, especially with this Neptunian energy coming out. This is about being with one foot in the spiritual realm and one foot in the physical realm, whether or not you're spiritual, okay? Like, you might not even be involved in spiritual things. It's just sometimes you know things and you're like, why do I know that? You might not even be aware of your psychic abilities and you're like, oh, like this and this and this is going to happen. And then it happens. You're like, whoa, I totally called that, right? And others are going to be totally in tune with that and like, oh yeah, this is, I study this, or I really work on this, or I really build this muscle up, or I'm really working on my intuition right now, whatever it is. So it's just, this is the energy. What makes you so different is that you are literally like a channel, a radio wave, a radio station of source messages without realizing it. I feel that this is something that comes so natural to you that it's like you don't even have to question it. You just have been this way even since you were a child. In fact, you may have been ridiculed for this as a child as well, but it's something that is so deeply ingrained in your being that even though you may have experienced criticism over this, you still can't help but be that, because it's in your DNA. Like, there's no running from it. Let's get some tarot out on it. So, source for pile 1. What makes them different from other people? Source pile 1. What makes them different from other people? What can you tell us? What makes pile 1 different from other people? Okay, thank you. What makes pile 1 different from other people? What makes pile 1 different from other people, source? Oh, thank you. What makes pile 1 different from other people, source? What more can you tell us? Okay, thank you. What makes pile 1 different from other people, source? What makes pile 1 different from other people? Thank you. Okay, what do we have on the bottom of the deck? Yeah, we have this stability in the physical realm. Like exactly what I was saying, that one foot in the physical realm and one foot in the spiritual realm, whether you're aware of it or not, that actually doesn't matter here. It's not about being aware of it. It's just, that's who you are. And because of that, it actually helps you stay grounded in the physical world, because you're able to see things from multiple sides. And so it's like, I feel that you have a mind that's constantly moving, where it's like you see a situation, a problem, or a circumstance, or a situationship or something, and you see a full circle of options around that, where other people who are involved in that emotionally or physically, they see no options, and you're like, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you could 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 do this. And people are like, how did you know all that? And you're like, I don't know, it just made sense. Like, and that's why it's like you're very grounded in that energy. I love this. I love that. Look, head in the stars, feet on the ground. That's exactly the energy here. Yeah, okay. So what I was saying is that some of you may have been ridiculed for this as a child, especially with the children energy up here. Right? The sun in the reverse. This definitely is giving me energy. Yeah, okay. With the 9 of Wands here in the reverse. It's like you had to begin again at some point. Maybe at one point you actually closed off to this. But you couldn't help it. Like, it's like when you got to know someone, you still opened up to this energy. You see, but strangers, you wouldn't help strangers even though you knew you could, because you'd been ridiculed by someone close to you or others. And so it's like you maybe dialed it back. And so there's this energy coming in where you are now in this space of learning how to truly express this aspect of yourself once again. And you're finding it's actually easy. And you're wondering, why was I ever closed off to this? And it's because that was something that was so different about you. You are also a very cute empath. And so being an acute empath, you would feel how uncomfortable this would make others. And so there's this energy of coming into this place of confidence where it's like, look, I can't allow how others feel about a situation to determine what I do with it or not. And so that's exactly what has happened here. You stopped being in this reversal energy here where it's like, oh, I had to give up everything, or I hit constant barriers, or I was constantly in this maze. I was constantly in a merry-go-round. I was constantly getting stuck in situations because of a childhood wound here. And you realize that what was keeping you stuck was actually not that big of a deal, or even though how you felt was valid, but you're seeing like, oh, this was just an illusion that I made. Like, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm meant to shine as. And that's exactly what it is. And so you're like you're the advice giver, but it doesn't feel like you're giving advice for you. Like it's just natural. It just comes out. It's almost like, it feels like to me, this energy of, if I don't say something, like air is just going to explode out of my mouth because something has to come out. Like this energy that I'm feeling, it has to come out. I have to express it. It's a very expressive energy for you, and it makes you very unique, especially with the stars starting your reading here. This is a very unique energy that is, it's you. It's who you are. But with these fiery energies here, it was like at one point, you couldn't take action on it. And so slowly you became grounded back again in this energy, and you realized that this was just an illusion that was holding you back. And that's what makes you different from others, is that you were actually able to look at this energy and understand, like, this isn't, I don't have to be that. I can be grounded in who I am and not be afraid of that anymore, especially with the Eight of Wands here. Like, this is a deep-rooted fear coming through here that has stopped you from doing certain things in life because of, well, what is so-and-so going to say? Or what if they say this? Or what happens if this? What happened? What if? And rather you're like, you know what? I have to say it, because it's like, if you don't, it almost sits too heavy on your heart. And it's like, I got to get it out. So I am going to bring these in today. Don't read the reversals on these. I don't know if I will yet. We'll get there when we get there, but this is my new deck here. I'm absolutely in love with this deck, so we're going to use this as a clarifier. I couldn't hold off any longer because I'm just so in love with my new decks, honestly, guys. So, Source, may I please have some clarifying cards for pile number 1? Thank you. All right. May I please have some clarifying cards? Yep, thank you. I got you. I felt it. I just heard gefilte fish. I don't know why, but okay, let's go with it. Source, may I please have some clarifying cards for pile number 1? Just one more. Okay, they want me to stop. May I please have another clarifying card for pile number 1? That's the one right there. I felt it. Gefilte fish. Yeah, okay, so we have the Six of Wands here. It's like leaving things that made you sad. And that's what's given you guys a leg up on your journey. But it's also made you very humble, because you realize, like, there's some sense of power that comes with this, right? There's some sense of understanding. It's not to be lorded over others. This is literally a gift. Even at times it may have felt like a curse, but this is a gift for you to help guide others or to plant seeds. It's not even to hold their hands. It's like, basically, here's my seeds of wisdom. They come from source, right? They come from your angels, from your guides, whatever it is that you feel they come from, or your higher self, right? But it's like your soul is speaking to you, and it's saying, here's the seeds of wisdom. Do with it what you will, but I planted my seed. It's not up to me to water that seed within them any longer. And it's like you had to leave something that felt at one point like it was abundant, like it was meant for you, but you found out it was just an illusion, right? It wasn't stable. It was built on the back. Look, it's like built on the back of this elephant. It's not stable. When the elephant chooses to move, everything could come crashing down. And that's how you felt. Like when you're like, oh, this illusion, once you understood the illusion, you realize this. So what else makes you different is that you're willing to look at these illusions about yourself and about situations around you. Yeah, we have the Nine of Swords here. Like, you guys chose to understand the red flags that were around you and persevere even in the face of something that was super scary, right? Again, we have the children here. And yes, there are children in this deck, but there are a lot of grown-ups in this deck as well. Right? So for this to be the first card coming through, and you have this big bunny here, and it's like, really, when you think about a bunny is not very scary. But when you're not exactly sure what you're up against because you're hiding behind this block, which is a blockage, right? It's like, oh my goodness. And we have the 6 here, right? Which is pointing towards the 6 of Wands. So it's like you have this opportunity to find balance in the situation, but you first had to find balance within yourself and give yourself love. But there was so much darkness around this ability. I feel like you were judged really harshly for being able to help others or tell future events, or, you know, even that, like, maybe there's a lot of people who just were like, oh, that's not even a real thing, and yet you think it is. Like, you're, like, people may have thought you were crazy, or it's like you may feel like you were crazy at some point, right? With this, in air card, we have an air card over the air sign Aquarius here with the star. We have Gemini over Aquarius. Like, the communication of it was difficult, because it felt like it changed everybody's lives. It felt like it even changed your life. Look, we have the 2 of Swords here. Making this decision. Do I walk on this tightrope, or do I stay back where it's safe? And at one point, you chose to go out into the unknown. And that's exactly what this is showing here. It's like, I cannot stay in this situation. I have to leave. But see, in leaving, look at where she's walking to. She's walking to this card here. Right? And in walking towards this card, it's like I have to face what I thought was my greatest fear, when in reality, it was just my biggest illusion when others made me feel this way. So your differences has been what has given you ridicule and hurt and pain. And now understanding the gift of it. And if you're not there just yet, it is something that you will come to understand. We have 11 here with the 9 and the 2 and the swords. So this is number 11, which is a very spiritual number, which is talking about ascension and growth and expanded consciousness. And so there's this consciousness expansion that's happening in regards to your gift. That's what makes you so different from others, is your gift. What a blessing. Even though it felt at times like a curse, it is truly what you possess is a huge blessing. Look at this. And we have the Queen of Coins here. Look at this. I mean, absolutely incredible energy. It's like you're coming out on this on top, being very grounded, being very nurturing towards self, like taking care of your wants and needs, because it's like, if I don't say this, like, that's what I'm saying. I keep getting this feeling like if I don't say this, I feel like I'm going to explode. Right? And now it's like you're understanding that my younger self didn't deserve to be treated like that. So I'm going to give myself an opportunity to be who I'm meant to be. And you are. And in doing so, you're allowing yourself to blossom in a way that you hadn't allowed yourself to blossom before. And you have success here. This is actually something that could very well bring financial stability for many of you. For many of you guys. Like, this is something that could really truly open up the path to financial stability. Like, we had Dreamtime Creation open up here. Look, again, with this, what you have to say, look, he's like talking on the didgeridoo. He's singing all of life into existence, right? He's blowing on the didgeridoo, and the music is singing all of life into existence. And that's exactly how you feel. It's like, I have to sing it out into existence. I have to get it out into existence some way, shape, or form. And any way that you guys express that, but it feels very vocal, something to do with your throat chakra. It could be writing, it could be singing, it could be talking, it could be poetry, it could be rap, it could be anything. Right? But it feels very expressive from the throat chakra. And this is so symbolic to what I was talking about in your reading. But that's your creation. This is, in a dream time, we're talking about having your dreams come true. You have an opportunity to create the life that you want through this very powerful gift that you've been given. And not using it to make other people feel bad, but rather using it for exactly what it was intended to set you free. Right? Look, we have 42 on the bottom with happiness and dolphin. Exactly. Like, it's like you're birthing this into existence right now. You're finding happiness with what you've been given with this now moment, which wasn't always easy. Look, underneath that we have links with secret. It's exactly like you're finding happiness without having the secrets anymore. We have the Scorpio energy, which is secretive, right? But it's like you're letting go of the secrets that have kept you hemmed in, that have kept you stuck, that have kept you feeling less than. And that's what makes you different, especially now. It's like you've always been different. This is something that's always been in your possession. It's yours, right? This is your gift. It's source energy running through you in this expression. But what makes you different from people now is that you're ready to really embrace this and understand it. Look, we have house 1, individuality, self-image, and your approach to life. You're becoming independent, and you're no longer attaching to what others said was yours to attach to. Now you're realizing it's my image. It's what I want. So what do you want? And you're going after that. So what do we have here? Yeah, so finding rituals for you that help you get you where you want to go, right? And not being afraid to express yourself in those ways. It's very important. I also feel that rituals or routine, if you will keep you grounded in this here, now, here moment. Because I feel that there are times when you may lose yourself in this gift. Like it may just be so strong and powerful that you may lose yourself and reality just kind of like fades away from you. And so it is important to stick with your routines because that will help you stay grounded on this here, now, here moment. And then we have Uranus energy, radically change. What did I say earlier? I said that here, that it's like it was scary because it not only changed you, it changed the situation, but it felt like it changed you. And we have this Uranus energy coming in. There was a radical change. And now there's a radical change in the way that you see your gift. So let's see what this is. Okay, let's see. Hold on, let me see. So he has this sword here. You have birds, which are a sign of messengers, okay? Also, she's holding his hand, but he has a sword here, and the sword suit is connected to messages as well. Also, our thought processes. So you may experience a vastly fast download. So it may come to you like very quickly like this. And so it's like here, I feel like you're this is depicting you, okay? Whether you're a woman or a man or what you identify with, that is fine. It doesn't matter. It's just what I'm saying is this is depicting you where you're the one that's getting the messages, delivering the message to others. And it's like some are ready to experience what you have to offer and others are not. And yet, as you move, you are going to find someone that mirrors you if you have not already. This is someone who's coming in to mirror you and be receptive as well as to give. And you're going to be receptive and to give as well. But here, it definitely feels like there's this energy of you giving, and it's like very compassionate. It's like very loving. Like, I have these energies, these messages for you, and let me allow you to give. Like, let me allow space to give them to you. Let's see. A lot of purple here. Definitely that the crown chakra energy. Look, we have number 11 coming out again. Very spiritual. You very spiritual, whether you realize it or not. We have the friend. It says, I am my own best friend and magnetize other loving friendships. Was I saying, like, you guys are in the process of loving yourself right now. You're in the process of going back and connecting with your inner child and realizing that how people had treated you, like, not the way they treated you was an illusion. It's what they made you believe was an illusion. And because of that, you're healing this aspect of yourself and becoming so much stronger and better for that. So let's see here what this says. I'm going to turn it over so you guys can look at the image a little bit longer. It says, friendships provoke an opportunity to give as well as to receive. Building special connections can enrich your life in an incredible way. If you are seeking to make new close friendships or bring more love into your life, you should try to love yourself more. Be your authentic self as best as you can, and that will attract more love to you. Also, do not dismiss the possibility that love may come through an introduction from friends, or that it might start out being a platonic friendship. No matter whether it is someone you already know or someone you have yet to meet, the important thing is whether or not the relationship is one built on the solid foundation of mutual respect. Be careful if you display the all too common tendency to think that someone who is nice and kind must be weak and boring. Too many people are looking for excitement because they think that uncontrollable, unpredictable uncertainty is what love is. Real love is exciting because the two of you care so much about each other and show it in every way. And yeah, you guys may have experienced this ups and downs when you were a child, like the roller coaster of codependency and toxicity. And that may have been ingrained in you that this is what love is. And now you are learning from those lessons and learning to love yourself in every way, shape, or form, right? Becoming your own best friend so that you can actually have love relationships like what you've always dreamed about. I love this reading. I hope that it resonates with you, Pile 1. If it does, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. I am going to go ahead and leave it there, though. So until next time, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. Stay human. Bye. Hello, Pile number 2. This is for those of you that chose this beautiful shell or this image on the oracle card. This is going to be your reading on what makes you different from other people. Pile 1 was an incredible read. I feel like yours will be as well. Keeping in mind these are general readings, however, if they resonate, hit that thumbs up button down below, knowing that as you interact with the channel, it allows me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Make sure you are subscribed and you hit that notification bell so that way you get notified when the next video does get uploaded. With that being said, let us go ahead and start your reading and ask the dice. So, source for pile number 2, what makes them different from other people? Source, what makes pile number 2 different from other people? What information can we give them? How can we help them out? What makes pile number 2 different from other people? Source. Okay, so we have 8th house, Taurus energy, and Venus energy. You are very sexy. Oh, how does that make me different from... No, like you have a very unique beauty about you. And this is more than just how you look. This is how you are in everyday life. You shine very beautifully. Like you have a very mysterious air about you. You also bring in transformation to those around you. You are constantly transforming your body, your mind, your soul, your heart, the way that you see things, the way that you experience life. I apologize for the rocking. It is super windy right now, and that's not something I can control. And this is the only time that I have right now to make this video, so bear with me, guys. I do apologize, though. I appreciate your patience. Right? We have this energy of legacies. It's like you are different from your parents. You're different from your family. Like you may be the only one that looks the way that you do out of your entire family line, and everybody's kind of like, we don't know where you came through from. I guess the stork dropped you off one night on their way by and just decided that, oh, this was your child, and yet you may not look like anyone, or you may look like someone who's really far back down the ancestral line, like your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother or auntie or uncle, you know? And there's this energy that you guys stand out in this very beautiful light. And you're intimate with people. You're not afraid to talk to others. You're not afraid to build connections with others. And that is something that makes you different. Like you may not know a stranger. Everywhere you go, you may know who they are, even without knowing who they are. And I feel that people come up to you and they're like, I feel like I have known you since my birth. You have known everything about me. You could be the group that knows or is aware of, has read, has interacted with how to win friends and influence people. If you have not, that's okay. You live that life. You know how to build a connection right away. You're very curious about others, and your patience, it goes beyond what anybody has ever actually seen before. It's like you are willing to be super patient with people regardless of the situation. Even if it's irritating to you, you are still open to being patient to it, because it's like, it's not that you don't speak your mind. It's just you understand that some situations call for patience, and you're the one that takes that patience very seriously, and you bring that at every level. And so you are very attractive because of these things, and you like to indulge in things that make you feel good, and you like to you put yourself as a priority. And because of that, that's what makes you different from others. You're not constantly letting people talk you out of taking care of yourself. You're like, look, I understand that you're busy. I understand that you may have a deadline. However, I have certain priorities that I have to take care of first. And you're not afraid to say that. You're not afraid to be like, look, this matters to me. And then once I'm done with this, we will get to whatever you have to do. But you have Taurian energy with Venus talking about how incredibly beautiful you are, how incredibly handsome you are, attractiveness. So yes, you may have very unique physical attractiveness. I keep hearing exotic, so you may look very exotic. People may be like, you may be born wherever you're from. You may be born there, and people may ask you, oh, where are you from? Assuming that you're from somewhere else in the world, wherever you are. So they may be like, oh, there's no way that you're from here. You don't look like the people from here. So where are you from really? Or what is your ethnicity? Or what is your cultural background? Or where, what country are you from? And you're like, I was born here. And they're like, no way. Also, what about your parents? And you're like, they were born here. So it's like, but it's just like you have a very unique beauty to you that people really are like, there's no way that you're from where you say you're from, right? They feel like you're from somewhere else. So you look very exotic, and you attract a lot of people. You may be someone who gets a lot of relationship offers and declines them or accepts them wherever you're at. That doesn't matter, but others see you being approached by people. They see you being approached by interested parties who are like, hey, can we have something? Let's go out on a date. Let's do something. Also, for pile number 2, you are very feminine by nature, and this is an energy that you exude. You receive everything. Nothing you have in life you've actually had to work exorbitantly hard for. Like, it comes to you very simply, very easily. It is this energy of receptivity, and you relish in that. You have learned in your lifetime how to receive what you ask for. So I feel that you are master manifestors, and that you are capable of saying, I want XYZ. You said it, you forget it, you lean back, and pretty soon XYZ shows up on the front door, and you're like, all right, cool, it's time. Yes. Like, you're surprised, pleasantly surprised, but at the same time you're not surprised, because you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I asked for. Cool. Like, it's here, right? You guys may have a very nicely balanced bank account as well, and people notice this. They notice that you're not living paycheck to paycheck or struggling like many do in the world. You would be surprised. You would think, like, I feel like some are in this energy of like, hello, you have to live within your means, right? You would be surprised at how many people don't, right? When you start talking to people, you may find that most people that you talk to don't actually know how to live within their means, because they're so busy trying to live a life that they don't have access to, rather than saving up for it. And when they see you go out and buy whatever it is that you want, they're like, how did you do that, pile 2? And you're like, I've been saving for this. And they're like, what? Saving? And you're like, yeah, that's what I was supposed to do, so that I didn't hurt myself or anything like that. And so there's this energy of you living within your means and having a cushion where you're not stressing out about things. And that's what makes you different from other people. And this is going to be people who are around you, right? Like, so you may be surrounded by people who struggle paycheck to paycheck, or you're just learning that they're struggling paycheck to paycheck, and that may surprise you, and it may not. But let's get some tarot out on it. So, source, for pile number 2, what makes them different from other people, source? Thank you. What makes pile number 2 different from other people? What makes pile number 2 different from other people, source? What makes pile number 2 different from other people? Okay, so this one, it actually flipped over in the pile wanting to come out. So, Source, what makes pile 2 different from other people? Okay, thank you. Source, what makes pile 2 different from other people? What else can you tell us? Thank you. Okay, you guys, you get these 2. I feel like this 2 of Swords is clarifying this 10 of Swords. Okay. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Star energy. Beautiful. Yes, you stand out like a star. Like people admire you. They're like, I wish I could be like pile number 2. Like, I wish I had the things that pile number 2 had. Like they're back here. Look at this. I can't with you. Okay, see, that's the thing. Like, they see you as someone who receives everything, and it's like with this, it feels like life is easy for you. You just walk through the door and you receive it. It's not to say that you don't work for what you have. Okay? When others are looking in on you, they feel like you receive it easily. And this is you in both pictures, right? Depicting the Star and depicting in the World card Prudence. And so you've gone through the trials, you've gone through the tribulations. No one's seen how hard you work, and yet everybody is on the outside looking in at you just being you, happy, carefree, lovely, whatever it is that you are. Everybody's like, whoa, and that makes you different than others because you're just living your best life. And it's like, I already hear you. I worked hard for this. Yes, you did work hard for this, but what makes you different is that you have learned through this how to receive that which is yours. Yeah, so you may have grown up in a very negative environment. So, yeah. Yeah, you may have grown up in a very negative environment. You may have lived around negative people for a long time. Okay? People who tried to make you feel like you were a nobody. Like this, I'm talking about some of you could have experienced verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. Okay, abuse of any kind here. I don't feel sexual abuse here because we do have the Swords cards energy, which is more like spoken and mental and physical. It can be physical, cutting sharp like a knife. However, that doesn't mean that that's not true. It does mean that maybe some of you guys did experience that, and I do apologize. If anybody, for all of you, I apologize that you had to experience this growing up. It is always a rough situation to see. However, let me give you a round of applause because you have learned how to balance your energy and make it work for you. You're standing out. You're on top of your game. You came guns blazing, okay? And that's what makes you different from others. The things that would have broken the normal person, it didn't break you. It made you stronger. You looked at that and it was like, whether at the time you knew it or not, you basically looked at that situation and said, bring it on, biatch. Okay, like you're like, bring it on. I'm gonna face it. And I'm gonna face it and see what it's leading me to do. And I feel that this energy took a long time for you to get there, but also what it created, it was like over here you have the 10 of Swords being clarified by the 2 of Swords. And this is saying here that you were in a situation that was super exhaustive. It's like no matter what you did, nothing changed. It was like even if you showed up verbally with them, it just kept creating the same situation, the same cycle over and over and over again. It was like no matter what you said, no matter what you did, no matter how you thought or things would change, they never did. And then one day, you realize that you're so strong because of this situation. You have a very different outlook on life. You have a very different outlook on yourself. That's why I feel like you take it so seriously, treating yourself well, because you had been treated so terribly at one point in your life. And so taking it serious on how to love yourself, that is like the number one thing here. But not just loving yourself, like you take it to the whole new level. You're like, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to make sure I never feel this energy again. I'm going to make sure I never feel this energy again. And what it has done for you is created a mindset where you realize you have the intuition, the know-how, you have the insight Okay, this is like third eye activation happened through all of this, where you are able to see that person is not good for me. That person is good for me. That person has malintention. That person is beneficial. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't get that word out, guys. Beneficial to my journey. Not as though you're trying to gain something from somebody. This is literally like understanding people at their core. It's like you basically look someone in the eye and you can see to the core of their being who they are and what it is that they're bringing to the situation. And you make decisions based on that. You're like, I'm not going to get involved with somebody who's got bad intentions for me. I grew up in that. I dealt with that enough. I let others hold me back for too long. You changed yourself and you began to balance out your energies. And again, you made them work for you. Like you went through the journey. You completed your journey and you learned what was important for you was taking care of yourself. Having this air of mystery transforming your energy into something conducive for your journey. Now we're going to get some clarifying cards from this deck here. I love this deck. It's my new deck here, guys. It's absolutely beautiful. I do not have the box, so I'm sorry. I can't tell you what it is. I will get the box on one of my next readings so I can tell you guys which one it is. It's like, it's an Italian deck by, hold on, let me see. Nicoletta Ciccoli. I think I'm saying that right. So, but anyways. So let's get some clarifiers out on this. Wow, that flew out. The first one out is the Sun card. Look at this beautiful, beautiful energy. Like you let all of that darkness and that sour energy turn you into this beautiful, sweet being. It was like regardless of how people showed up in your life, like you chose to be this kindness to yourself and you became the queen of your life. The king of your life. Okay? The ruler of your life. You became this being that people are attracted to, right? Bees are attracted to honey. Bees are attracted to nectar. Can you please get another clarifying card here? We have number 10 coming through here with the Sun card as well, saying you've completed this cycle. You changed and completed the cycle. It's like, and that may have made others very uncomfortable around you as well, but you didn't care. Because this is what mattered to you. Look, we have the Two of Cups coming out over the Popess, which is the number 2 from the Major Arcana. She rules all the 2 cards in the deck. But look, you see this? You could say they're twins, but I feel like this is you embracing you. This is saying, I'm my own best friend. I care about myself so much. I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of my inner child, right? I'm embracing my own duality here, and I'm falling in love with that aspect of my duality. Like, whatever it is that comes through, or whatever it is that I've experienced, and it's like, I'm gonna give myself a chance to blossom by taking care of myself and treating myself the way that no one else did before. Whether that's through material things, or through written word, or through spoken word, or just through showing yourself that you love you, you know? May I please get another clarifier for this source? Okay, thank you. And then we have the King of Swords here. Yep, you became super communicative about what you wanted. Wasn't I saying that you know how to manifest? You're like a master manifester, and you know how to manifest what you want, and you communicate that out into the world, and then it's like you just sit back, and then suddenly it shows up in front of you like this cake did for her, and you have your fork, you've got your knife, and you're ready to go, and once it shows up, you're like, all right, it's here, it's time, it's baked, it's cooked, it's time for me to enjoy and to eat it. And then you have the Knight of Wands. Look, the duality. Look at this darkness. Right? Look at this darkness that you embraced and you found the beauty in it. Look at how, wow, hello. Look at how absolutely gorgeous this is. Right? It's like you found the beauty in your darkness. You found the strength in that contrast that you experienced. It's like you took action based on the hurt. And it was like, if I experienced this, what did I experience this for? You experienced it to embody the light. And now that's exactly what you do. You embody the light. And people have to watch as you become this light being. You're just living your best life. Like, that's exactly where you're at. You're living in your intuition. You're taking action based on how you feel. And you don't question it. You're not like, oh, what should I do? We have leadership on the bottom with elephant. Number 10, you completed a cycle and now you're leading others. Look, he's like in the meditation stance here in lotus pose. He's also holding the... Oh, I cannot remember the name of this Muladhara. No, not Muladhara. The mantra, or not the mantra. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember, but he's holding his fingers like this. I'm sorry, guys. I just totally had a blank. I remember what this means. Right now, I guess that's not what they want me to talk about. It was just I was drawn to it, and then it went away really quickly. But if you remember what that's called, please put that down. It's the hand gesture that is like this. I know it starts with, I think it starts with a U. I just can't remember right now. But it's like that centered energy, that balance, abundance. You have abundance to give to others because you've given so much to yourself. You're not afraid to share, but you only share with those that matter. Those that have treated you right. Those that have shown they're worthy of your time. That's what makes you different. People sit back and they're like, I wish I lived life like pile number 2. How do I get there? And I feel like some of you have been in this energy of like, it's easy. You just love yourself. Do what's best for you. And people are like, no, there's got to be more than that. You're like, okay, cool. Whatever you want to believe. Look, this is a trip. So I'm just going to show you guys this because they want me to talk about, you may be an Aquarius. We have Aquarius energy with the star here. We have Aquarius energy with this 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. We have Uranus energy, which is Aquarian energy as well, radically change, and Cloud, shapeshift, which is the Aquarian card that I have in this deck. So you guys may very well be Aquarian. What this is saying overall, though, is that you are very unique. Okay, you are very unique. You stand out. You radically changed yourself. And now you are calling in people who are of the like-minded energy, who have, an opportunity to build a friendship with you. You stand out, and it's all because you changed yourself with shape-shifting clouds, too. You changed everything about your being. How you looked at life. You no longer play the victim, and people have seen you change. They're like, oh, you're no longer playing the victim pile 2. Now you're this like strong person who attracts everything you want. I love this. We have fear, hyena. You moved from poverty into prosperity. It's exactly what we've been talking about. Like, you're living a life of luxury, whatever that looks like for you. But because you're living it and it makes you happy, it makes you feel fulfilled, others want it too. You make it look good. You make it taste delicious, right? Sanctuary cave. Yeah, you take care of you. This is like being in the womb, finding space for yourself, like taking time to take care of you. You don't question that journey anymore. You're like, when you need you space, you just take it. You're like, look, I got to check out for a while. It's a little bit overwhelming in here, so I'll meet y'all later on the flip side, right? And that's what you do. So let's check out your card here, right? There's like this ancient wisdom that's coming through. This is the image that I get. It's like ancient wisdom here. And it's like you guys also have these coins. This feels like coins being dropped down here, right? And the snakes on the bottom. Like you've overcome the snakes. You've grown beyond the snakes. Where once you may be on that same level, or you let them control aspects of your life, you've grown beyond that, and now you know what it is that you want in life, and you've built up this safe house, this safe place for you to expand, for you to grow, connecting with source energy, connecting with ancient energy, connecting with your energy, climbing the hill, climbing the mountain, getting over the darkness, right? The light and the dark here. Being able to balance yourself. It's like, I feel like you're giving yourself these flowers. It's like saying thank you to the wisdom that you gained. I apologize. There's a tree branch slapping the window here. So, like, what the heck is right there in my ear, too? I apologize. I really do. I cannot control the weather, y'all. But I feel like you were giving yourself these flowers, and you're thanking your guides, your ancestors, those that have helped you on the journey, or your higher self, right? This could be source that you're thinking, your angels, God, Buddha, I don't know, whatever it is that you guys call it, right? The gods, the goddesses, you're thanking them. You're like, thank you for helping me. See, look, we have 26, the desirable. I accept my desires as a pure expression of my essential self. Oh my Lord, I love this. I love, because that's everything we've been talking about. You're like a master manifester. You don't even question it. You're like, no, I said it, I forget it, and guess what? It comes to me. There it is. Hey, thanks. That's what I wanted, Source. You got it. You did it. You're right on, you know? And that's exactly what has happened here. And then we have 26, which is 8, and you've ended some karmic cycles, which has allowed you to come into this abundance. So I'm going to flip this over and read a little bit from this so you guys can check out the image a little more. Let me make sure I'm on the right card here. Yeah, okay. So we have, all actions begin with a desire for a particular thing to happen. Some quiet time in your sacred space with sanctuary. I love this. Can help you see the difference between what you desire and what others want you to desire. Our desires can be both in our best interests and unreasonable. Many people sabotage their best interests because they find some of their desires strange, worrisome, or frightening. Most of our desires are truly ours, but some are the result of our having succumbed to the bombardment of the cultural conditioning we all experience. The same cultural conditioning is why we have trouble accepting our desires and ourselves in the first place. Oh my goodness, come on, page. Work toward what you really want, because you are going to get it. When you get what you desire, your life is going to change in many ways, including ways you cannot foresee. If you are working toward what you truly desire, then what comes with the territory you discover will not be anything you cannot handle. We're talking about that change. Something is changing for you guys really quickly here if it has not already. But you are working towards your desires. You guys are a master manifester, whether you realize it or not. Something is about to alter in your life if it has not already. But with all this change energy coming out, I do feel like there's a new change on the horizon for you that is just going to be so fulfilling to your heart space. So I loved your reading, Pile 2. I hope that it resonates. If it does, hit that thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel and set that notification bell. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, though. Until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. This is for those that chose this beautiful oyster shell. Or if you chose this image, the one that I showed, because you got 2 of these cards. This is going to be a reading on what makes you different from other people. We'll check that out in a little while. As always, we'll start with the dice. If this resonates with you, please hit the thumbs up button down below. Knowing that as you interact with the channel allows me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. So with that being said, please hit that subscribe button down below and set that notification bell so you always get notified when the next video does upload. So let's go ahead and get into your reading and find out what makes pile number 3, Source, different from other people. What can you tell us, Source? What makes pile number 3 different from other people? So we've got 5th house, Libra, and the moon. Let me get my block. Okay. You're fair when it comes to how people express their emotions. You're the one that people come to because you're fair about how you approach life. Okay, it's like some may come to you for advice on very emotional, very sensitive topics because they're like, oh, I'm experiencing this. How would you go through it? And you see things from all around. Like, okay, you know, you're having a hard time over here, so try this. Or you're dealing with this emotionally, maybe try something like this. And while not everyone does take your advice to heart, there are many that do appreciate it. You also have this beautiful spirit. You are someone that many would love to date and romance. However, because you are so self-expressive, you may not be approached as much as you like because there's this also air of mystery. We have the 5th house, which is Leo ruled, and we have the moon, which is Cancer ruled. And you have these opposite elements here, right? The fire and the water here. It's like you're very fiery, but because of how caring and compassionate you are, you also dampen this fire somewhat. And that kind of surprises people, but you are this beautiful person who people can see themselves having children with you. They can see having a life with you. They can see living and having adventure with you, like wanting to be your friend. And it's like, and you're the guy next door, or the girl next door, or the person next door. Like, you're the one that people dream about, always on their mind. They're always thinking about pile number 3. And it's because you're so charming and you're so harmonious and you have a lot of good relationships that are around you. You're very intelligent and beautiful, and justice is something that you're always like, no, if that's not justified, then, you know, you want to find balance in that situation, and you go out of your way to do so. If you hear that, there is a tree branch that is hitting the window right here, and I truly do apologize. It comes and it goes. So just know that slapping noise is actually tree branches hitting the window here. So I do feel like that's also confirmation to what was being said. But I just want to let you guys know because it may sound very loud on the video and I cannot change that. So I apologize. However, there's this energy as well that you're super friendly and open and outgoing, and people really like that. Like, they really are drawn to that. There is this energy that you may actually have people who approach you and they're very passive aggressive towards you. I feel that people try to draw you into codependent situations, or they are openly ruthless to you. Like, they're very cruel and mean and rude to you. And you're like, whoa, I never even did anything in your life to ever elicit this response or this action towards me. And yet here you are acting a fool and I don't know what's going on. And they never have a reason as to why. It's because of jealousy. It's because of people want you to be superficial, and you're not. You're anything but. Even though if someone were to look at you, they may assume that you were superficial until they get to know you and they see the true depth of your character, of your being, of your soul. And it's beyond what anyone else is able to feel or to accept or to even, they can't even dive half as deep as you go. Right? And so that irritates some people to this level of where they will lash out at you because you're making them feel a certain way, and it has nothing to do with you. Right? It's their thoughts that, oh, pile 3 is making me do this, or pile 3 is the one that's creating this situation. And really, you're just being you, and being you is a very deep person. You're very... This is like more than being well-rounded, which is an energy that I got in one of the other piles. This is like depth. This is like when people talk to you, it doesn't matter what background they're from. It doesn't matter where they're from. Even if you have never experienced a life that they live, somehow, some way, some shape, some form, you are actually able to connect with them in those situations in a level that no one else ever has. And so there's this depth to you that is beautiful, and it nourishes others, and they're just like, they're drawn to you because they're like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like, I've told this story to hundreds of people, but no one understood me like pile 3. Right? And so you're so different from others because you're capable of connecting with so many people, regardless if you've experienced life in their shoes or not. It's like, it feels like, pile 3, when someone tells you their story, it feels like you live their story in their shoes, right? Even though it's just a story. They're telling you a story, but it's like in the act of telling you that story, that helps you somehow experience the depth of their own experience, right? Like, you experience it, and that's what helps you connect with them. It sounds strange, but that's the energy that I'm getting. That's the message I'm getting here. It's that you really connect with people because it's like, this is more than being an empath, right? It's not just feeling another's emotions. This is literally like someone is telling a story and you're somehow stepping into their shoes in that moment. Like, you know, when you read a book, I don't know if any of you guys read, but if you read a book and you get so engrossed in the book and like all of a sudden hours and hours have gone by, but you feel like you lived in the moment as that character for those hours and hours. It's the same thing when other people tell you their story, and so many others get so disassociated with people because they're on their phone all the time, or they don't really care what others have to say, but you're so engaged at that moment that that's what makes you different, because you're capable of living someone's life without actually having lived it. Let's get some tarot out on its source. What makes pile number 3 different from other people, source? What makes pile number 3 different from other people? One more. Okay, thanks. What makes pile 3 different from other people, source? What makes pile 3 different from other people? Thank you. Okay. What makes pile number 3 different from other people? Thank you. What makes pile 3 different from other people? Thank you. Wants to be this way. All right. Let's see what's on the bottom. Yeah. Like this, I love that this came out for you on the bottom, because like that's what makes you so fortunate in life, is you're not coming through people's situations, or even in life, you're not trying to be egoic, right? You're not in your emotional ego. Like you really step out of yourself. It's almost like having an out-of-body experience. You really step out of yourself and you connect with them at a very soul level. And in doing so, it's this energy of, because you understand them so deeply, that it helps them to heal themselves in a very unique way, like in a way that they might not have otherwise been able to heal. And where you guys are usually fun and playful, and you like things to be fair, but it's like when people meet you, they don't expect this energy from you, and then all of a sudden that comes out like this, and people are like, whoa, hold on, pile 3, let's back up just a second. You really experience this? Like, you really understand this? You really see what I'm experiencing? And you're like, yeah, I can see it. And you're very kind to them. You're very compassionate to them. And that actually helps them heal wounds that they have not been able to heal because they felt like nobody understood them. But for some reason, you, pile 3, this is what makes you different from other people, is that you truly understand the depth of another's experience. This has scared you before. This has really frightened you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's this energy here where you know that this is a good path for you. You know that this is the direction that you're meant to go, right? Yet here we have the 8 of Wands in the reverse. This is like trying to control this aspect of yourself at some point, right? It's not that you are now. This is saying that at some point you have tried to control this aspect. You've tried to say, oh my gosh, this is too much for me. Like, people think that I'm not being real. I'm not being honest. I'm not being authentic. I'm not being true. Like, maybe that I'm just blowing crap out my rear, you know, and you're not. It's just, but at some point there's this feeling that you had made yourself believe this, or you let others convince you that how you were experiencing others was not real, or this is people who were close to you who saw you connect with others in this way, and they would start to beat you down, causing your own house of God moments in situations. Okay, yeah, I see. A source is pointing out here with this Ace of Wands underneath the house of God that this was all self-sabotage for you in the past. It was because of what others maybe had said to you, or there's this energy surrounding it of being entirely too frightening. For some, this was a relationship of somebody who's very controlling, convincing you that you weren't worthy of having a gift this grand, right? This is a very big gift. Across the board, everybody's had very big gifts. They've been very, very different, but these are large gifts. These are like life-changing gifts that you possess, and there's someone that convinced you that you weren't worthy of carrying this torch, that you weren't worthy of carrying this wand, right? This baton, whatever you want to call it. It was like being passed to you from source. And what has happened is that in that, when you were convinced of that, you let it become this burden. It became a huge burden to you. And so you yourself had to experience these I keep hearing coming to Jesus, okay? And this is not a religious thing. Growing up, my mother always said, we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. And whenever she said this was when the family would sit down and talk. And it meant that whatever was going on was, A, we were going to get our butts chewed out. B, it really had nothing to do with us to begin with. And C, it had everything to do with whatever she needed to decide. She couldn't decide it alone, right? And so why do I bring this up? Because that's exactly what happened. You had to learn not to decide this on your own. You had to experience it firsthand, what it was that you were doing as a healer, what it was that you were doing as someone who has this gift. You couldn't experience this by yourself, because there's other parties that have to be involved in this. It's like, that's why I'm saying it's like even though it had to do with you, there were other parties that had to be involved to help you see you. It had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with you in the situation. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're the one that had to show up and gift this to them, to become this deep person, to allow yourself to swim to the bottom of the ocean and bring that out to them. And in bringing it out to them, seeing that, wow, I really did help this person. I really did change the situation. I really did impact them in a very powerful way. And that was all part of the plan. That was all part of this plan. You were on a positive path, even though the path was upsetting, even though the path was hurtful. But there's this completion of this and this transformation overall that has put you on the straight and narrow for you, right? Which is different from everyone else. Your journey is not the same as everyone else. Your journey has been yours to experience, and in experiencing it, you've been able to grow into this beautiful individual. Albeit it might have been difficult, but realizing that you never had bad intentions, even if people convinced you had bad intentions. Or this is something that you truly were experiencing, even if people convinced you at some point that you were just crazy in the head, which is not true. It was just an illusion that others were trying to put on you, right? And so there was this fear of trying to control some aspect of yourself and saying, I have to shield myself from this because this hurt me so badly. And yet, some way, shape, or form, there's still like this improbability that you'll ever actually shield yourself from this gift, because as with everyone in this situation, it is something that's very ingrained in your being. You can't help but become, it's almost like, I keep seeing like those videos where someone becomes like, when they get like a psychic vision, and you know how on movies their eyes would go white and their eyes would roll in the back of their head, and then they had no control over what they were saying, it just started coming out. That's like what happens with you, except you're present, you see it coming out. However, I feel that there are moments when people are like, hey, can you repeat that so that I can remember it? And you're like, I don't actually know what I said. And they're like, how can you not know what you just said? You just said it. You said it. And you're like, I wish I could tell you, but I don't know what I just said. Like, that's because you are so deep that it's like when you send the hook down to the bottom of the ocean and you catch it, you catch the fish, you hand it off to them, and it's no longer in your possession because it wasn't yours. It wasn't for you. It was for them. And it's up to them to remember. It's up to them to let the seed take root. It's up to them to let that impact them. And many, many do. Many do. But in this, it's like you had to have other people in this situation in order to understand, wow, okay, that came out fast. Oh, I'm going to use this new deck to get clarifying cards. I absolutely am in love with this deck. And yes, if you guys want to know what it is, I apologize. I do have the box over here. It's covered up. Let me see if I can read it. It's like by Nicoletta Ciccoli. It's an Italian deck. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anyways, guys, back to the reading. So I'm going to get clarifying cards from this. Okay, so Source, may you please have some clarifying cards for pile number 3. And I feel like that's why you guys got these cards as well. And we'll get into this. I won't forget, because this was so powerful when they both came out. I saw them separately, and that's why I took both of them, was because of what the images are on them. It has done, I don't even know what they are. I don't know what the cards are. Just the images on them were so profound when they both came out. So, but I do feel that there's this energy that you yourself had to experience some profound healing. But oddly enough, your healing wasn't actually something that you could ever traverse by yourself. Your healing came in the face of healing other people. So look, we have the Knight of Swords on the bottom. Do you see this beautiful image here? Look at this butterfly. She has these butterfly wings, and there's all these white butterflies flying around her. She's being lifted out of the darkness into the light. So it's like, I was getting that feeling like you're the one that was your own worst enemy here. And it's like you had to realize that there's this connection that's beyond your control. That's what's lifting you into the light. That's what's lifting you into this bright energy. This, like, how white she is. It's like white, pure love coming through. It's like that, you surrendering to this gift is what brought you up out of the darkness, realizing you had no control over it. Realizing I can't change who I am at my core. I can't change my soul. My soul wants to express itself in this beautiful way, and I can't change that. Even though at some points it was very difficult. Even at some points it may have felt wrong. It was like eventually it came out. It felt so true to you. You couldn't hide from that anymore. And that's what makes you different, because you're not on the ground. You don't exist in this world. Right? It's like in this world, but not of the world. That's the type of energy coming through for you, pile 3. What a beautiful person you are. Absolutely stunning. Let's see what your cards are to clarify. So we have the King of Wands coming out here. Look at this. You have taken care of some part of yourself that you denied. It's almost like, it was like bittersweet, but at the same time it was almost like a guilty pleasure, right? Like indulging in this aspect of yourself felt like a guilty pleasure, and every time you did, you were guilty. It was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that makes me a bad person, that makes me this, that makes me that, it makes me this, it makes me blah blah blah, whatever, right? And you're realizing that these are gifts from source. These are gifts from higher up. This is a gift from the spirit realm, right? From the ethers. And it didn't necessarily make the journey easier, but it was when you embraced it, you realized, this is a part of me. Why am I denying this? Why am I denying this self? I'm taking action towards my dreams. I'm taking action towards myself. I'm taking action towards what feels good to me, knowing that I don't have to deny this aspect of myself. And it's interesting because here in this one, she's not eating the cake. It's like she's actually the cake. Like, she's the one that's offering the sweetness to others. And that's what I was saying. Like, you're very nurturing and compassionate. Like, you're the one, you know, when you hurt yourself, you know, mom would take you out for ice cream. This doesn't necessarily mean that your mom would, but it's like that idea that when you hurt yourself, your mom would take you out for ice cream. You know, my grandma, I love my grandma. Rest her soul. I just love her to death, and she's no longer with us. But what she would always do is whenever I had something profound happen in my life, whether it was good or whether it was bad, she would always say, why don't you come over and we'll make ice cream sundaes? And so it didn't matter. Like, everything in life was celebrated with an ice cream sundae, and it was like grandma was the one that was providing that. And the reason I bring this up is because that's the kind of energy that you exude. I'm not calling you a grandma. You may be a grandma, and that's amazing. What a blessing. But what I'm saying is that you exude that energy. It's like, you're like, you know what? No matter what happens in life, we need to enjoy the sweetness, because there's a part of you that felt like the sweet parts of you were bad. And when you decided that they weren't bad anymore, it was like you understood the power behind that. Yeah. And you're moving away from the sadness, the darkness. So the Six of Wands here, it's like what was hurtful to you has now become your way of traveling, right? It's like this mosquito can bite you, and it can leave a mark, and it can leave a scar eventually. But realizing that those scars are what made you who you are, and it was like you took a hold of that that scar. You took a hold of what caused that scar, and you're like, no longer are you going to control me. And that's what makes you different from other people, because you didn't reside in your darkness and you didn't shut yourself out from that. Maybe you did at one point. Okay, maybe you absolutely did at one point. What has changed, though, is look at all this action energy. We have wands, we have wands, we have wands, we have wands. Like, you could very well be a fire sign. We had Leo energy starting the reading. But now you're taking action towards what feels good. Regardless if it sounds crazy or not, you're like, I'm just not even going to think about it anymore. I'm not even going to worry about it, because it's happened so many times where that has proven right, or it has proven helpful, or it has proven to impact another in a very positive way. It's like that has outweighed now whether or not how you sound, if that's crazy, or if that's odd, or if that's this, or if that's this, right? So that's what makes you different from other people, is just following that intuitive knowing. And allowing yourself to be that deep individual. Like I said, this is not being well-rounded. This goes beyond being well-rounded. This goes to being able to experience the lives of others without realizing it at one point, now knowing that that's how you live life. Look, and then we have the King of Swords. Capable of communicating that to others. Here you're eating it. It's like I was saying, you have embraced this and you're taking action. And you're letting you be the sweetness of life. And here it is. You had to first enjoy it, right? You first enjoyed it so you could become the King of Wands. But you had to understand what it was for yourself, right? Before you could get dressed up and all beautified and all handsome and all sexy to go out and present this to other people, you had to first understand what it was that you were asking of yourself. But it's like in asking that, you've learned this very powerful thing about yourself, that it's you being led by something that's greater than you. And that's what makes you different than other people. Let's get some oracles out on it. Yeah, you bring a lot of change to people. A lot of change. Like it sometimes there have been moments I feel that it scared you a lot, because you bring a lot of change. We have perspective coming out on the bottom with Milky Way. Like that you help others see the light in the darkness, because you had to see the light in your own darkness. But it's like this was something that was easy for you to help another person to see the light in the darkness. But when it came to you, I feel like there was struggles there. And now you're finding your own strength and your own resilience to it, right? How you present yourself to others and realizing that it's okay to be different that way. Helping others see the bigger picture. Helping others see their own bigger picture, right? Some people will go through life thinking that they're all hunky-dory, living in a place of hurt and suffering because they don't know any different. And you help them see that. Look, we have observation, Peregrine Falcon on the bottom. We have the Eye of Horus, this third eye energy coming through here. Seeing beyond what is physical reality. This is seeing into the ethers, seeing into the unknown. And not being afraid of that anymore. This is for many who didn't grow up with spiritual parents, right? It's hard when now we're in this age of spirituality. And the things that come along with spirituality. Not this goes beyond religion. This goes into the actual practice, right? You could be very religious and not have a practice. Right? You could not have a practice, but you could be super religious. And then there are others who are religious and they have a spiritual practice that goes along with their religion to keep them in connection with the divine. And that's exactly what this feels like. It's like at one point maybe you didn't have that spiritual practice, and now you have that spiritual practice, and it's taught you a lot about yourself. Now this one did flip over. We have house 10 here, structure, discipline, life, mission, accomplishments, and career. So without maybe understanding or knowing just yet, this could be something that leads you into a very accomplished career. But for sure, for you, pile 3, this is a life mission. And that's what I was saying, having that spiritual discipline, right? Having that spiritual practice, that's a discipline. And then this flipped out when I was talking about that. That's something that's very important for you. Whatever that means to you, it's going to be different for everybody, right? That's exactly what it means to you. We have the sun on the bottom with self-expression and embodying your truth. That's exactly what you've gone through, is learning how to experience your own truth and to express yourself. And be okay with that expression. And that's what makes you different from others, because that's what I'm saying. Like, people see you and they don't expect the depth of who you are. Yeah. You very much walk with your ancestors, or ancestors are guiding you, and you're healing generational curses here. Things that have plagued your family for many, many generations, and you're healing them. Right? And that's what I was saying, that there could have been people too in your life that are considered your ancestors, right? Like, this ancestors are the people who are related to us by blood. That could be people who are still living. That could be people who passed on. But you're talking about your ancestors. This could be family that was judging you as well, that made you feel terrible, that made you feel like you were doing something wrong. And your ancestors in the spirit realm have been trying to guide you away from the snake, right? Let's guide you into another direction. Look, we have 33 here. Change, chameleon. Yeah, no longer are you blending in. You see how beautiful she is, and she stands out on this chameleon with this bright, brilliant yellow color. It's like, that's just it. No longer are you in a place where you're blending in. You're in this place of standing out. We have number 33 and your pile number 3. I love this synchronicity for you. This is incredible. So this is the message here, is that why you're different from others is because you're standing out. You stand out more than people. You know, it's like people are magnetized to you because you stand out, but at the same time, there are others who are mad because you stand out so much. You're so different. So I want to bring this up. I want you to look at these two images here. And then I'm going to bring this up too, because we have this butterfly. She has butterfly wings and she has butterfly wings. This is moth. So she's the moth. But I feel like this is symbolic to embracing the dark and the light. You have a butterfly and the moth. Moth rules the night. The butterfly rules the day. And then you have the white butterfly here. Right? So it's like this transformation through embracing the darkness into the light, and then being carried by your own wisdom into the ethers in this beautiful way. And I feel like that is the main message here for your cards, is that it's like you're embracing your third eye, your wisdom, your knowledge. You're not letting the darkness scare you. In fact, you're letting it carry you into this blossomed energy. Let's see, we have 2 pictures here, a hand in a mirror and a bird right here. It's like reaching out for what is being reflected back to you. Like, you're reaching out for yourself, and you're seeing yourself from different angles here, but you're also leaving messages for yourself. And there's this energy coming through where it's like the shadow does come back sometimes. You see this over her? But when the shadow comes back, it's almost like you just make this seamless transition here, and you embody yourself in that darkness, and you realize that that's just a part of who you are. And that's another aspect, another beautiful aspect to love deeply about yourself. So let's see what these both are. I cannot. We have number 33, the truthful. 33 and 33 with pile 3. I love this. I love this. It says, I speak my truth and expect everyone I care about to do so too. I love this. I love this. And then we have 39, the protector. I respect people's boundaries and I require the same from them. So you have learned how to create boundaries in your life, and maybe that sat wrong with people. Maybe they were like, why are you setting boundaries now? Like, you never had boundaries before. Or they feel like you're selfish, and that's not the thing. It's like, you're like, no, these are just my boundaries. I respect yours. And they're like, well, I don't feel that way. And you're like, that's cool. That's on you. That's not on me. I'm going to read a little bit from both of these. So this one says, circumstances sometimes require that you call on the protector to help shield you from the effects of disturbed energies that threaten to go past the boundaries you have erected in your life. People and even animals can become damaged and driven to ignoring the rights of others by pain, physical, mental, or emotional. Their sense of self can become diffused, and they can lash out without concern for how their actions might hurt us. The protector is there to remind you that there is no real long-term benefit to be gained by being excessively preoccupied with the needs of another person while ignoring your own needs. A healthy relationship needs personal boundaries so mutual respect can nurture over time the love that first brought you together. Boundaries can be fences that keep you isolated from those whom you do not wish to associate, but they can also be bridges to better, healthier relationships that can survive challenges and the test of time. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this over here because this one's number 33. Okay, so let's see. Let me go to 33 here. Don't tell the other piles you got two and I read them both. So let me flip this over for you. It says, cultivating the habit of telling the truth to yourself enables you to be truthful with others. Examine your attitude towards telling the truth and your ability to know when others are telling the truth to you. People lie for a myriad of reasons, most of which are based on fear or greed. Even more difficult to discern are those who are telling you what they do believe to be true. What is in fact false? A highly developed intuitive sense is one of the best ways to guard against those whose words can deceive you and lead you to paths you will regret taking. It is very important to be open to hearing the truth, even if it hurts to hear it. Though it may be unpleasant, the truth can set you free from an illusion or the consequences of living a lie. Rather than dismiss out of hand what makes you feel uncomfortable, it is best to open up your mind to the possibility that what you are being told may be true, even if it is only true from the point of view of the one who is speaking to you. Being open to this possibility is a sign of respect to both the person who is trying to speak their truth to you and to the divine within us all. I absolutely love your reading. Synchronicities are off the charts here, guys. We have 3-3, 3-3. You are pile 3. I would check out, and we have the 3 of Wands here. I would check out what 5 threes together means. I do not know what that actually means. For me, 3 is all about creativity, that your angels, your ancestors, and your guides are with you on the journey. So if you ever fear that you're alone on the journey, know that you are not. But this is what I have for you, pile 3. What an absolutely charming pile. I was in love with your reading. I hope that it resonates. If it does, please hit that thumbs up button down below. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. But until next time, stay human. Bye.